Hi, I'm Lisa Honold, founder of Parenting Digital Natives. You can find me at parentingdigitalnatives.com. For those of you that don't know me, I am passionate about keeping kids safe online, and I work with parents and schools to increase safety online. I am here today to talk about one of my favorite topics. I have a circle of online safety with 5 steps to keep kids safe. At the top of the list is aligning as parents. The first thing that we can do as adults to ensure safety online is to be on the same page with other people in the kids' lives day to day, whether it's parents, step-parents, grandparents, babysitters, whoever is in their lives day to day should be on the same page with technology rules. That happens sometimes, and other times we need a little push toward getting people on the same page, getting the adults on the same page. I am here today with my friend named Victoria McCooey. She is a transformation coach. She helps women who are in controlling or otherwise abusive marriages to help them stand up to their abuser and regain control of their lives. She is here to talk us through some really specific questions that I have on what to do as parenting partners who are not seeing eye to eye on technology rules. Victoria, welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I want to dive into the questions. My first question for you is, how do parents, ex-spouses, current spouses, parenting units, how do they get on the same page?
Well, hopefully they all have the children's best interest at heart. So that's where you have to start from. And it's all about communication. You know, you have to actually schedule time to talk about these things. Usually we assume the other person thinks and feels exactly the way we do, but we never really talk about it with them. So the most important thing is to schedule time to talk about these issues. And it can't be when the kids you're helping them with homework and cooking dinner and everything else is going on. That is not an effective method. So you have to actually schedule a date to do this together. If it's your spouse, you have to schedule that into your calendar when the kids are not around, and you have to have an agenda, a list of topics you're going to focus on, and you have to come to decisions. You have to actually communicate your thoughts and ideas and come to an agreement.
Yes, yes. And I coach parents to talk about their background, how they grew up, if they had digital crisis of their own, if they're, if they had issues growing up around technology, if they have fears for their children, to really talk through what those are and have a plan for how to mitigate those fears, and then also share your hopes and dreams for the life skills and the child that you hope goes out into the world as an adult. So this regular check-in, it makes a lot of sense. It's not one and done. It's weekly check-ins. It's, hey, my kids are growing, we're evolving, technology is evolving, for heaven's sakes. We got to keep up. So having this regular time to do that makes a lot of sense.
No, a weekly scheduled time that you protect. You safeguard that time, and it's your priority.
Yes, in addition to date night, which is more fun.
In addition.
Then some of my parents have spouses or parenting partners who are either overprotective or overpermissive with their kids and technology rules. What advice would you have for parents in those situations?
Right. So in that situation, it's a negotiation. So hopefully you're dealing with a reasonable, rational person who also has your children's best interests at heart and comes from a place of loving and caring. So if you can express and communicate your concerns, hopefully you can negotiate on something that feels right for both of you. Sometimes it's a give and take. Sometimes there's one area of parenting where you feel very strongly about, and another one that they feel very strongly about, and maybe you make some compromises around that. You know, everything in life is a negotiation and a give and take. So, you know, you can't have your way every time. You have to sort of compromise for the greater good, unless, of course, you honestly feel it's putting your child in jeopardy or in harm's way. You know, then you have to stay very solid on that. But I think that from a loving place, you can negotiate on these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think bringing in the science and the fact-based research on what we know so far about kids and screen time and addiction and how they're using screens to get into trouble sometimes. Yeah. I think that can be a part of the piece if one parent is more educated on sort of the research and fact-based information. That's a piece of the puzzle as well, that the other one may just need some facts.
No, of course, that's such a great point, because if you can come armed with research to defend your viewpoint that differs from your spouse, that could really go a long way and get it in proving your point. So yeah, I think that's smart. Have as much ammunition as you possibly can to defend what you want.
Yes, yes. And best case scenario, you've already agreed up front to what the rules of engagement are. And so you're fighting fair, you're fighting about one issue, and it's not fighting.
Right.
Best case, it's not fighting, it's talking it over, it's coming to an agreement. It may be heated, and that's okay. But fighting fair where you're not pulling the person's character into the mix and putting everything that they've ever done for the last 5 years.
Exactly. You can't throw at your partner, you know, what he said to your parents last weekend. You know, it's not about that. You have to stay on topic.
We do not recommend that.
But of course, there are some people who are not capable of negotiating on any level.
Yes. Let's talk about that. When a parent feels like their technology rules are being sabotaged again and again, and the other parenting partner doesn't seem to care at all, doesn't get it.
Right. Well, I would say to pull back and look at the bigger picture, if that's happening. Is it only happening here, or is it happening across the board in your relationship? I mean, is this a bigger topic?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what are the red flags that a person might look for if they are feeling sabotaged?
Right. So, you know, those are the people I deal with. I deal with women who are in these types of relationships. So the red flags are if you are seeing yourself walking on eggshells around your partner because you're not sure, anything might trigger him, set him off, you know, that's a big red flag. If your personality is having to change from who you really are to keep things safe, protect your kids, keep things quiet, you know, that's a problem. That's a big issue. It's not normal. You know, people get so used to their way of life. It's your normal, but that's not healthy. And it's not a way to live. And, you know, you can't sustain that level of stress for the rest of your life. You know, something's going to give. So that's one, you know, the compromising your personality or the way you speak for the sake of peace and quiet. That's a big red flag. If you're afraid to voice your opinion because you know you're going to be berated or condemned or shot down, or, you know, if you're just not speaking up on things you feel strongly about, that's a big red flag. You know, that's not a partnership. That's a dictatorship. You know,
that's right.
Marriage is a partnership, and you have got to have a say in what's right for you and what your needs are too. It can't be one-sided. And this is a big one. If your children are dismissing your rules if they're not really taking much consideration for what you're saying, that is a real red flag. That means they see the pattern.
I see the
They
pattern.
see that you're being overruled. They see that your voice doesn't matter. Your opinion does not matter. So that's not healthy for them. I mean, it's really not a good scenario for anyone.
And the ultimate goal is to raise kids that are healthy and can grow up to be productive, beautiful human beings. And we need to model being our best selves so they see that.
Absolutely. You know, I like to tell people, like, what advice would you give your child if your child were in the situation you're in?
Oh, yes. And that probably is the light bulb moment for many people. Yeah, it becomes clear.
Right. You wouldn't want this for your child if you're in an abusive situation. So you can't, it would be hypocritical for you to stay in a situation that you wouldn't advise your own child to be in. They're modeling after you. You're teaching them what normal is, and that's going to be their normal then.
Yes. Victoria, how can people find you online and find out more about you?
Well, I would love for people to find out more about me at my website, which is my name, victoriamcooey.com. You can email me with any issues that you might want personal advice on. I would be happy to answer any questions you might have. My email is victoria@victoriamcooey.com. And you can go to my website to book a free session with me. The first call with me is free, so we can get to know each other a little bit better, and we can talk about if we would be a good fit, how I can help you. You can book that right on my website, victoriamcooey.com.
Fantastic. And we will post that as well. And if you would like to talk more about technology rules and how to keep kids safe online, I work with school districts and I work with parents on making that happen and making sure that, number one, you are aligned as parents and parenting partners. And then there are 4 other steps as well to keep kids safe online. You can find me at parentingdigitalnatives.com. We're both on Facebook. You can find me at Parenting Digital Natives. And Victoria, where can they find you on Facebook?
It's my name, Victoria Vosby McCooey.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And Victoria, I want to thank you for your time today and your expertise in this very important topic.
Thank you so much for having me.